welcome back to Avo Tutorials. Today I'll be sharing something very cool with you, and in my previous video I was showing you how to bring in events from Google Calendar into Google Sheets. That was previous events, and for this video I'm going to show you what are your upcoming events in your calendar from today onwards, so that you can have some sort of like a task list and know what's going on in your life. I'm going to show you a demo on how it looks like first. So I'm going to remove this, and what I will be doing is to bring in meeting 1 to meeting 4 into the Google Sheet. And over here is my app script. I'm going to click run, and you can see it's all being populated automatically and it's following the time. For example, meeting 1 is at 10, so it's at 10, and meeting 3 is like 9 a.m. Now let's jump into the code to see what happens behind the scenes. Alright, if you're interested in getting the code, it will guide you to this page over here where you can buy the code. Alternatively, you can get this for free if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and email to this email mentioning that you have subscribed, along with your YouTube username or whatever that you use to subscribe, so that I can clarify that and pass you the code. Let's start with this. So first things first, the first function is the log future meetings function, and basically it hosts all the code within it. So you can see I can collapse it, and within this function that I call log future meetings is I will get the calendar. So I will need to tell Google Sheet which calendar it should refer to. So it's going to refer to this Gmail's calendar, because right now I am using my Bam Hummus Gmail. So over here, Bam Hummus at Gmail, and that's the one that I'll replace with. And then this second one is that it's going to look up for this calendar name. I would say sometimes there be multiple the same one, but this one is going to look for this exact one, and if there's multiple, it's just going to take the first one. So it's just going to be the first one in the index. Then if it's not able to find, for example, if let's say I misspell this and there's no such calendar, right, and I click run, it's going to tell me calendar not found. So you can see the log over here tells me calendar not found, and that's when I know, oh, maybe I put in the wrong calendar. And moving on is I will define the time and range that I want it to fetch. So this is saying now, meaning the current date, and I also between now and the future, which is 1 week later, that I want. This is just a naming. If you want to, let's say 2 weeks later, then you need to change the numbers over here. You need to change the numbers, basically changing this number. So 1 week later, because it is 7 days ahead, right? Then if let's say if you want 2 weeks later, I'm going to put 14. And this back part here, you won't really need to change because you're actually just changing it to milliseconds. So it's 24 hours, 60 minutes, 60 seconds, and then 1002 milliseconds. So this is telling Google Sheets to take 7 days from now, and if you ever need to change the number of days, just change this first one. Okay, then after that, it's going to fetch the events from today onwards to whenever you have confirmed. Then you're going to go into the Google Sheet. So you're telling the code to look at this current active Google Sheet and look at the first sheet number 1. Okay, this is very crucial. If you are going to change this to, let's say, sheet 1, 2, 3, you're going to make sure that you change here as well to sheet 1, 2, 3. So hang on, let me, right? Because if let's say I just now change it to sheet 1, 2, 3 and I now remain in sheet 1, if I click run, it will not be able to find the sheet. So you can see that it's reading error, right? And you're going to say code line 23, because it can't get the sheet, it can't get the data from this sheet, so it won't be able to refer to. So I need to put this 1, 2, 3, then it will be able to run. Alright, next one is it's going to get existing data from the current sheet. So previously we started off with a blank sheet, so there was nothing much for it to extract. But if let's say, right now we already have 4 events logged in, and in the future when we keep running this code, you want it to store and so-called check back what is already in the sheet and what is not in the sheet, so that you don't have duplications, or the code is actually meant to update the date and start time if you happen to move your calendar around, but with the same event name. And once you get all the data, you need to make sure you store it somewhere. So then the storing will actually be in this existing meetings map. So you create this meetings map is to store all your meeting names, their keys, their respective row numbers as values, and the code will actually use it as a quick lookup to check if that event already exists. Yeah. So this line of code over here brings in the existing data from the sheet. This line of code over here, this chunk of it over here, it used to store whatever that's been extracted from the sheet. Then from there, we're going to log each event from the calendar. So you're going to fetch all the events from your calendar with the title, with the start time, and also the end time. And what I've done is also to add in a little trim in there just to make sure there are no extra spaces behind the titles. So that when we do certain matching, it matches exactly. It's not going to go, it's not going to get confused whether is there a space after a certain word or not. Then I'm going to format the start date, start time, and end time. So I have formatted the date as month, day, year. If you're going to change this up, feel free to change it over here as well. Start time and end time. Then it's going to check. So remember, you created a object to store all your previous existing meetings. Then it's going to check against the new stuff that are coming in from the calendar. So then this one is going to check, and then it's going to also get the current date in the sheet. So for example, if the date in the sheet is different, it will update it automatically. For example, okay, let me show you. Meeting 1 right now is showing 25th of November, 10 to 11. For example, if I'm moving meeting 1 to, let's say, 12:30 p.m., right? I'm going to click save. Okay, so now it's not going to tally up with my one anymore. But if I'm going to click run, then you can see that it will automatically get updated to 12:30 to 1:30. Yeah, so that's what it does. It looks up the exact same meeting name. Once it matches, it will look at the date, it will look at the time, start time and end time, and it will update accordingly. So you have to be very careful, very mindful on how you name your meetings. If you're very unique with all your event names, then you're good to go. Okay, so then this whole code of here, like I mentioned, is going to update the date, the start time and the end time if it's different. Or else, if it doesn't match, meaning it doesn't exist in here, that means it's going to add in a row. For example, right now I'm going to add in an additional meeting called meeting 5, and I want it to be on Friday at 11 a.m. Right, so I'm going to click meeting 5 over here at 11 a.m. So now when I click run, it is going to add in the additional meeting 5 because it's not able to find meeting 5 anywhere around here. So it's going to add in under row 6 over here. Okay, then after that, it's also going to sort the sheet by both date and time in ascending order. You'll realize now meeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all in ascending order, right? It's actually not based on the event name, but it's based on the date, the start time, and the end time. Now, for example, I'm going to bring meeting 2 before meeting 1. It's going to sort that for me. So let's say this one has to go to Monday, and let's say I'm going to put this at 9 a.m. save. Alright, so now you can see meeting 2 is before meeting 1. And when I click run, you're going to see meeting 2 being shifted up. Yep. So you see, meeting 2 got shifted up because of the date. It's not the date is the same, but it's because of the start time. So that's how then you can keep track of so-called your task list over here and be very sure of what needs to happen next. Basically, your whole automation is almost done. You just need to create a daily trigger. For me, I created this code so it automatically refreshes, it starts a trigger, it automatically gets, means that I don't have to clicking run. It actually refreshes every minute. If you want to play around with that, you can actually change this to hour as well, and then change to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however you want it, and play around with it so you can see how it's going to get triggered based on the time frame that you put. Over here is something that is so-called automated. If you want to be more manual in terms of your triggers, you can actually just go to triggers over here, and then you can add a trigger if you want. So you can put log future meetings, time driven, hour timer. I'm gonna put minutes, every minute, and then if there's any failure, I want it to let me know immediately. All right, so then I'm gonna click save. Okay, so when you see this over here, it means that you have a trigger set up. Previously, I did not have any, and I also did not run this code, because if you realize here, I'm only running log future meetings. I didn't put create daily trigger. So that's up to you. If you want to manually update yourself, just take this front chunk of the code. If you want to have it automated on when you want the trigger to happen, then you can put in this code and put in daily trigger. Alternatively, you can just create your own trigger inside here. Yep. So for example, if I'm just going to delete this and I want to automatically create that trigger with the code, I can just select create daily trigger and I'm going to click run. So once it says completed, I will go back to my trigger over here, and now you can see it's triggered. It works exactly the same. So up to you on how you want to do it, and I hope this was very helpful. Give me a like, subscribe, and comment down below on any other future automations that you would like me to do. Thank you. Bye.